They said married couples are exempt from the draft. We are still too scared to go back to our village.
Though my sister and her boyfriend were already in a relationship, my sister cried and said she didn't want to get married yet.
Myanmar's conscription drive has been targeting men since early last year, but with reports spreading that women's names are now being collected, increasing numbers of young girls are getting married, with their parents' blessing, as a means to shield themselves from the draft. Hello and welcome to Do Athan, the weekly podcast about human rights stories from Myanmar. It's brought to you by Fondation Hirondelle. This episode is produced by freelancer Kin Nin Piu So. Some names may have been changed to protect contributors. Nan Kay is a 17-year-old Pao girl from southern Shan State's Si Seng Township. She has 3 older brothers, all of whom are working in Thailand, so she is the only one among her siblings still living in the village. In July, regime officials came to her village to register names for military conscription. Nan Kay's name was added to the list. The officials said she would not need to report for training anytime soon, but having her name on the draft list worried her and her family. To avoid conscription, she eloped with her boyfriend.
I have never thought about getting married young. My boyfriend and I were planning on running away together to avoid being drafted. At first, we just ran away to a bigger town. I called my mom, and she said we couldn't just keep running away. She told us it would be better to get married. So we signed the marriage papers in the town. They said married couples are exempt from the draft. We are still too scared to go back to our village. We are married now, but I don't know what to do or what will happen next.
Enforcement of the military service law began in February last year, and it has reportedly pushed many young and underage girls into early marriage. According to the law, women between the ages of 18 and 27 are eligible for military service, with exemptions granted to married women and divorcees who have children. There are currently no precise surveys or statistics to confirm the extent of early marriage in Myanmar, but Dal Moon Ne Lee, Joint General Secretary 1 of the Women's League of Burma, said they have received evidence of an overall rise in the practice from women's forums, member organizations, and safe houses.
Young
girls and their parents think that by getting married, they might be able to avoid becoming a target of the draft. Parents see it as a way to keep their children out of the military. It's becoming a kind of escape route.
Julia, 18, lives in Kachin State. Her sister, who is 2 years younger, got married out of fear of conscription.
Neither my sister nor I have been listed yet, but my sister's boyfriend's name was on the list. He is 19 and my sister is only 16. He's the only son, and his parents couldn't pay to send him to the military. They came to our house to ask my sister to marry him, saying that an arranged marriage could provide a temporary solution to the conscription problem. Though my sister and her boyfriend were already in a relationship, my sister cried and said she didn't want to get married yet. Our parents were hesitant because my sister is so young, but they finally agreed, hoping it would help her avoid conscription. They got married about 2 months ago.
In August, the Myanmar Defense and Security Institute, a research organization founded by military defectors, released an unconfirmed report that the first batch of female conscripts was training in Mabi in Yangon region. Training for men who are eligible for conscription from age 18 to 35 started early last year and is now up to batch 16. Moon Ne Lee said the conscription of women has her worried that those who are eligible for the draft will soon face new restrictions and controls. She added that the current situation is having adverse effects, both on young women as individuals and on a national scale.
Once women get married, their education usually comes to an end. A typical 15, 16, or 17 years old would normally be in high school. But with schools closed for a long time because of COVID and the military coup, some girls of that age are still at the primary level or have only completed grades 5 or 6 in middle school. When they get married with that level of education, they might be burdened with many responsibilities. Lacking sufficient education makes it nearly impossible for them to guide their own children toward an academic path.
Daw Thinza Mya, a former judge who joined the civil disobedience movement and who works on issues related to marriage, said that in Myanmar, marriage under the age of 16 is a violation of the penal code, and anyone who breaches it will be punished. The legal age for an adult to consent to marriage is 18.
According to the child rights law, a person is legally defined as an adult at the age of 18. Those between 16 and 18 are considered youths. No one under 16 can marry. Those over 16 may marry with parental consent. Once they are over 18, they are considered capable of making their own decisions, meaning they can marry without parental consent.
Daw Thinza Mya further explained that if a child between 16 and 18 marries without parental consent, they can be charged under Section 363 of the Penal Code, kidnapping or abduction from guardianship, for eloping without the guardian's permission. If the individual is below the age of 16, the crime is legally classified as rape under Section 376. Mani, a women's rights activist with 10 years of experience analyzing various forms of violence, said that in Myanmar, the marriage of underage girls is no longer driven solely by traditional customs or poverty, but is increasingly a direct result of living under the junta. Desperate decisions made to avoid conscription, including child marriage, are already having consequences that will reverberate for generations. The repercussions, including lost education, will make it all that much harder to rebuild the country in peacetime, as Daw Thinza Mya explains.
We must analyze this in terms of education. A decline in educational levels leads directly to a decline in the nation. A nation is built upon strong human resources, young people with good interpersonal skills, and critical thinking. The government must see its failure to provide education for these children. We should not lay the blame on young people for getting married early.
Julia said the current situation and the fact that her younger sister married early has evoked feelings of deep resentment toward the military.
My little sister is always crying and distraught. If the conscription law didn't exist, we wouldn't be going through this. I really hate the military.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Do Athan. We would welcome your feedback on social media, and please follow or subscribe to our pages. This project on human rights reporting is supported by Fundación Hirondelle, with the help of our donors. You can listen to our podcasts via the Do Athan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and Telegram. Please tune in again next week.